fee, then you owe us nothing, not even our costs. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on a Friday. Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. I'll be quite honest with you people. I mentioned this earlier this week. I have been basically 100% healthy for 34 years. Had a kid. He's in daycare. It just doesn't quite go as smoothly as it did for the first 34 years. For the last 10 or 12 days, I have felt either terrible or had a brutally sore throat or was in some way compromised health-wise. But I kept telling myself last week, I was like, okay, it's fine to be sick this week. Like, we'll get through this week. We'll get to next week. We got baseball coming up. We just drink some water, maybe lay off the cold beers over the weekend. I went to Mardi Gras last weekend, had one high noon. This week wasn't really getting better. I still didn't feel like great on Wednesday. Last night started feeling a little bit better. This morning, I got out of bed. I was like, oh my God, my throat doesn't hurt. I don't have chills. I don't have aches. My head doesn't hurt. I don't have to take any medicine. It's opening day. Have you seen the weather out there? Moose, no, Casey, play this song. Oh, baby. For those of you who are football heads, who are thinking, oh, God, we got to put up with baseball. Hunt's going to be insufferable with this baseball stuff today. You were correct. For those of you that are in a really good mood because baseball starts in 2 hours, it's time. And I'm fired up. I will be here with you for 90 minutes. I will turn the reins over to Taylor Sharp. I got priors at the box. We're going to get there as close to first pitch as we can. I don't know if this song by John Fogerty is the most beautifully written song ever written, but it works today. The box soundtrack hasn't changed in 30 years, and I'm expecting to hear all the same songs in 2 hours when I get there. Opening day at the box, LSU in Western Michigan, 2 hours from right now, and we will get you ready for it. We will have your lineup here very shortly. I will get you into that. Put me in, coach! What a song. What a weird song, but I'm feeling it today. Thank you, Casey. Well, we'll talk a little LSU South Carolina. Taylor's got some NFL stuff, I believe, for you later in hour number 2. We'll get you ready for the SEC Saturday in hoops, but it's a lot of baseball here for the next 30 minutes. So if you're knocking off work a little earlier, headed out to the box, and you're feeling the vibes on this gorgeous Friday in the capital city, maybe you're headed to the French Quarter to celebrate Mardi Gras. Maybe you're headed uptown New Orleans, celebrate Mardi Gras. Maybe you're headed to the box. Maybe you're just enjoying the gorgeous weather and you're excited to watch some baseball this weekend. In any event, the vibe should be very, very good on this Friday. I'm going to get into the lineup here coming up in about 15 minutes. We should have it by then. But I wanted to start the show today, throw in 5 bold predictions for this LSU baseball season against the wall and see what sticks. I'm going to keep record of these at the bottom of my Google Doc that I refresh every day. I will have these for the duration of the season, and we'll kind of tick them off one by one and see how I do. I didn't try to be vanilla. I wouldn't say these are outrageous predictions, but I think they're fairly bold for what they are. You can be the judge of that, and I'll take some of your submissions in the Bayou Ford chat if you want to throw those at me. Number 1, here are 5 bold predictions for this LSU baseball season. I think Chase Shores starts 10 SEC games. That's all of them. Every weekend. I have kind of been leaning this way for a couple of weeks. Kind of reached out, take the temperature of it inside the box, inside the program, and that's very possible. I don't know if probable or likely is as far as I would go, but it's very possible, and he will get his first shot on Sunday. The stuff is just eye-popping, and I think the poise they've enjoyed the last couple of weeks, you'll see a little bit more on Sunday how he handles things. That's going to be maybe the biggest crowd of the weekend, because the weather warms up just a touch, and we expect really good temps and sun on Sunday. But you heard Jay say something yesterday when he was talking about the rotation, and he said for this team to be as good as it can be, Thatcher Hurd needs to become a weekend starter. And I think you could say maybe the same exact thing for Chase Shores. I think Riley Cooper's a heck of a pitcher. I think Ty Floyd's a heck of a pitcher. I think Christian Little's got amazing talent. I love Bryce Collins' ability. But I think Shores looks like a future number one. And if he's already in the starting rotation for weekend number one, which I've already said may not be the same 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, he's got a real chance to break through. I think Chase Shores is in the weekend rotation by the first SEC series, and I think he starts 10 SEC games this year. That is number one on my bold predictions. Number two, I don't think anybody on this baseball team is going to notch 8 saves this year. It's because I don't think they're going to have a closer. I think Jay is going to play the matchups. I think if you've got 2 stud left-handers coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning with a 2-run lead, Nate Ackenhausen, Riley Cooper may be out there. I think if Bryce Collins took over in the 7th and he's humming 95 miles an hour and he struck out 3 in his first 2 innings, he may go out there for a 3rd inning and shut the door. I think Ty Floyd might get the ball if LSU's in a tight game tonight. He may start down the road. I think it's just going to be who's rested, what matchup is good, who do we feel good about in this spot. Last year you saw Gervais and Raiselman kind of trade off here and there. Riley Cooper got some laid outs as well. And this pitching staff's made up of different pieces than that one, certainly. But I don't think it's going to be a Nick Goody, Chris Cotton situation, a Matty Ott situation for those Mineria, where you just, when the game was on the line in the 9th, you knew it was coming out. I don't think that's right now the way this thing is made up. If one of the guys emerges and becomes just nails, say Skeens is your Friday guy, and they get Thatcher Hurd to be the best team the team can be, and he moves into Saturday, and they love Shores on Sunday, and Cooper goes to the bullpen, maybe because you trust Ackenhausen as a left-hander in a lefty-lefty spot, maybe Cooper becomes that guy, and he does have 11, 12 saves this year because LSU wins a ton of games. The other part of this is maybe LSU wins a lot of games by more than 3 runs, and there's not enough save opportunity. I think my second bold prediction, nobody has 8 or more saves on this team. My third bold prediction for this LSU baseball team is LSU will sweep 2 road conference series. Last year we saw them go to Starkville and sweep. We saw them go to Nashville and sweep. It's not something that has never been done, but it is difficult to do. And I think saying they'll sweep 3 or 4 is a little much, quite frankly. I'm trying to be bold, but not too bold. Sweeping a weekend's tough. Here are the weekend series in the SEC. Texas A&M, that's going to be very difficult to sweep. South Carolina's got an All-American going on Fridays. Will Sanders can go. That's going to be tough to sweep. Ole Miss, defending national champions, Hunter Elliott heading that rotation. Be a tough one to sweep. Auburn just went to Omaha last year. And Georgia. But I think, like LSU last year in Nashville, you remember the Nashville series last year against Vanderbilt? Last one of the year. They couldn't get LSU out. Christian Little out there started a game. Cruz hit 2 homers off him. Joe Bear was bombing over the right field wall. LSU was unstoppable that weekend in Nashville. And it feels like this LSU team will have a couple of weekends like that where 3 or 4 of these bats are clicking, and it's just a nightmare. And I think in that situation, you could see a sweep just by straight momentum. I think like Tennessee last year when they went to Oxford, and it was number 1 versus number 2 or 3, and it was non-competitive from the first pitch of the first game. I believe Tennessee did hit a leadoff home run in game 1 of that weekend, if memory serves. I think LSU sweeps 2 road conference series. So my first 3 bold predictions, Chase Shore starts 10 SEC games. That's every weekend. No one on the team has 8 saves or more, and LSU will sweep 2 conference series on the road. Number 4 here on my bold predictions, Paul Skeens. Double-digit home run guy at Air Force. Guy who comes here to go both ways. Going to pitch, going to hit. I came on here and said, based on some discussions I had, The plan was to pitch him in the first game of the weekend, sit him on Saturday unless there was a huge pinch hit spot, let him hit on Sunday against maybe back-end pitching, and let him hit on Tuesdays. That was before this winter practice started. Now Jared Jones is a man on a mission. He's a guy that's going to garner a lot of DH spot. I think Braden Jobert is going to play some DH. Still got to get Pearson at bats. What are you going to do with the extra second baseman? There's a lot of guys that need swings. And I'm telling you, as I said earlier this week, there is some real concern with the injury risk of Paul Skeens standing in the box and running the bases. Answer me this. Would you have liked to see Aaron Nola or Alex Lang diving back into first base on a pickoff throw? Would that have made you feel warm and fuzzy? No. And it doesn't make this staff feel warm and fuzzy either. And if Jared Jones is going to step in there and hit 11 home runs and hit 275, let him go. Skeens, you're going on Fridays. I think Paul Skeens hits less than 5 home runs this year. I'm not ready to sit here and tell you Skeens isn't going to hit this year. I'm not ready to tell you that. But I'm telling you that I think that based on the emergence of some guys, Paxton Kling is one of these guys as well. Based on these emergences and the depth of this lineup, there's no need to put a lot of risk on your Friday night starter who throws 100 miles an hour. Again, picture Alex Lang trying to get from first to third on a single to right field. I'll pass on that. That's what they're looking at. So I think Skeens hits less than 5 home runs. That's number 4. Last one here, number 5, my bold predictions for LSU baseball this year. I got 6 guys, not individual. I'm not going to name them, but I'll give you I got 6. I think LSU will have at least 6 players hit double-digit home runs this year. Last year, LSU had 5. The last time 6 guys in LSU's lineup hit 10 or more home runs was 1999. Cruz and White are going to do it. They're locks. I think there's a very strong chance that Jobert, Pearson, Dugas, Jarrett Jones, Trey Morgan, Paxton Kling have a chance to do it. That's 6 guys right there. And then I think it's possible Brady Neal and Jordan Thompson could hit 10. Now, these are all for different reasons. Jobert, if he played every day, would hit more than 10 home runs. I don't know that he's going to play every day, especially against lefties. Maybe he is. I don't know that, so I can't put him in locks. I got Cruz and White in locks. I can't put Jobert in a lock right now. Can't put Pearson in a lock. I don't know how often he's going to play. Gavin Dugas, if he played every day, he would hit 10. I don't know where he shakes out in left field or second base. Can't put him in locks, but he certainly has a chance. Jarrett Jones, if he DH'd every day or played first base, he would do it. But is he going to DH against really tough right-handers as a freshman? I don't know. Going to play today. Trey Morgan hadn't been a 10-home run guy in his time. Is this the year he does it? He's going to get enough at-bats. Certainly not a lock, but I think it's very possible that he does it. And Paxton Kling, going to play today. I think there's a real chance he could do it too, but I can't put him in locks. But that's 6 guys with a real good chance to do it. And then Neal and Thompson. Neal, I don't know if he's going to play enough. Thompson, I don't know if he's going to hit 10 home runs. But that's the whole lineup plus 1. That's 2 locks, 6 other guys that are good chance, and 2 possibles. I think 6 guys from this team will hit 10-plus home runs. That'll be the first time this century that has happened. That would be no small feat. Incidentally, Tennessee last year had 9 guys that hit 10 or more home runs. Man, I'm fired up. I am so pumped to get out to the box today and watch a little bit of baseball. If you are headed out to the box right now and listen to us, we appreciate it. We'll get you ready for it. If you're stuck at work and we're planning on going at 6:30 and can't get free, that's okay. We're here to help you out a little bit here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. When we come back, let's shift gears briefly. I'll get you ready for LSU South Carolina briefly, and I think 90 minutes to first pitch, 1:30. We will have the lineup, and I will give it to you at 1:30 today. So let's take a timeout, quickly hit LSU South Carolina, lineup at 1:30 coming up here on the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana. Simone Mala is certainly a champion of Louisiana. Simone has dedicated her career to protecting Louisiana's coast and helping the state take a leading role on the world stage in environmental restoration. We know how vital our coast is to us. It houses 2.5 million people, supports infrastructure like highways, ports, pipelines that fuel the country's economy. And as the executive director of Restore or Retreat, Simone does everything she can to make sure our coastline is being taken care of. That makes her a champion of Louisiana. Thrilled to tell her story. We want to tell more stories of champions of Louisiana. If you know of a champion of Louisiana, go to lwcc.com/champions and nominate a person, a nonprofit, a business to be a champion of Louisiana right here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Simone Malaz is February's champion of Louisiana. That's presented by LWCC. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus 2-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon.
NBA All-Star Weekend. Tune in Friday night at 8 p.m. for the Rising Stars Challenge. Saturday at 7 p.m. for All-Star Saturday Night. And Sunday at 7 p.m. for the All-Star Game. Right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Baseball at the Box coming your way 3 o'clock. If you want to listen to it, you can catch the pregame 2:30 over on Eagle 98.1. That'll be Chris Blair and Doug Thompson on the call. First pitch just after 3 o'clock between LSU and Eastern Michigan. No, Western Michigan? Western Michigan. One of the Michigans. Don't really care which one. It's in Kalamazoo. Couldn't care less. Just want to see the guys in the purple and gold light it up. It'll be Paul Skeens taking the ball for LSU. Matt McMahon squad on the hardwood tomorrow will be LSU in South Carolina inside the PMAC, and this is one LSU absolutely can win. South Carolina is awful. Absolutely awful. They are 9-17 on the year. They are 2-11 in conference play. They beat Kentucky in Rupp, we remember. I kind of know how that happened. They shot better than 50% from three in the game. But after they beat Kentucky, they lost 8 straight. And they beat Ole Miss, who's atrocious. And then they lost to Vanderbilt by 11 earlier this week. Just some brief numbers on South Carolina. Offensive efficiency, 308th in the country. That's not very good. Defensive efficiency, 316th in the country. That is not very good. 292nd in the nation in possessions per game. That's slower than LSU plays. LSU is at 267, so they're very, very slow. They are 346 in the country in shooting percentage. It is not a good offensive team in any way, shape, or form. They're 300. When you're in the 300s of something in college basketball, that's awful. They're 314th in the percentage of the points they get from free throws, so they don't get to the line. They do shoot a lot of threes. They're 66th in the country in threes, and that is even amplified in the fact that they play so slowly, and they're almost 300 in the country in possession. So they shoot a lot of threes, and at Rupp, they went 11 of 20 from three. They turn the ball over a lot. They don't shoot it very well, and they're not very good on defense. I state my case. If you look at this team from a personnel perspective, Michi Johnson is their point guard. He's 6'2", 280 pounds from Ohio State, scores 12.5 a game. Interestingly enough, Chico Carter is their two guard. That doesn't mean anything to anybody here other than the fact that he played 2 years for Matt McMahon at Murray State. He is a good shooter. Chico Carter is a good shooter. And I was thinking to myself, looking at the team that LSU's put out there, the results they've had, and then understanding that Murray State with some of these same guys went 30-3. If you put Chico Carter with some of these guys, it makes for a better team because he is a good shooter. He's shooting 47% from three this year. If you put him out there, it's tougher to guard KJ Williams. You can't help off of Trey Hannibal or off of Juice Hill quite as much. So that's a guy that LSU hasn't replaced in Matt McMahon's system necessarily. They just don't have anybody that's a really good shooter. Chico Carter is. But really, I could go all through all these names for South Carolina, and it doesn't really matter. The only one that matters is the one NBA player that they have, and he is certainly an NBA player, and that's Gigi Jackson, 5-star recruit, big time get for them this past offseason. He does one of the better compliments I can give him, and it's very similar to Brandon Miller at Alabama, although he's not quite that good. When he plays, and I've watched him play a good bit because he's one of the better players in the league. So when South Carolina's playing, your eyes gravitate to him. He's 6'9". I didn't know that. That's a huge compliment to him because he plays like he's 6'6". He's 6'9". He's really good. 6'9", 215, scoring 16 points a game for him. He's taken 100 more shots than anybody else on this South Carolina team. You will notice Gigi Jackson on the floor, and that's LSU's biggest task. If you hold him to 12, 14 points in this game, South Carolina's going to have a hard time getting to 65 or 70 points. You let him go for 27, all of a sudden you've got a fight on your hands big time. You may not even have a fight on your hands. You may just lose. Gigi Jackson is the guy that LSU's going to have to guard. So I don't know exactly who it is. I don't know that Tyrell Ward is ready for that assignment. I think that Jalen Reed maybe not move quite as well. It's a tough call for LSU on to how to deal with Gigi Jackson, but he's the guy you gotta handle. South Carolina's posts are total non-factors on offense. You know one of them. Josh Gray is one of the posts for this team. He played at LSU, wasn't on the floor very much, and decided to transfer out after his first year. He ended up with Frank Martin at South Carolina, and now starts some games for South Carolina under a new coaching staff. He's 7 feet tall, 255. He doesn't score much. Benjamin Bermans-Verdonk, also about 3 points per game. There's just not much there. The bigs don't score. They set screens, rebound, that's about it. The scoring comes from Michi Johnson, Chico Carter shooting the ball, and then G.G. Jackson on the outside. For LSU, this is a game they should come out really fired up to play. You're not playing Alabama. You're not playing Tennessee. You're not playing A&M. You're playing one of the worst teams in the league. You have to be physically ill waking up every day on an 11, 12-game losing streak. That is no fun ever. It sucks to get up and go to class. It sucks to go to film. It sucks to go to practice. It sucks to talk to your parents on the phone. Losing that many games in a row is uncomfortable and not fun at all. You've got a chance to change that tomorrow. I don't think the crowd's going to be awesome. The weather being what it is, people being keyed up for baseball, crowd going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, students at Mardi Gras. It's not going to be packed in the PMAC tomorrow. But you've got every bit the amount of talent that South Carolina is going to put out on the floor. You're at home. If they play the way they have in some of these tighter games, the way they did against Missouri on offense, the way they did against Bama in the PMAC, the way they did against Texas A&M in the second half of that game, the way they did against Georgia in the first half of that game, if you play hard and well for LSU's talent level, and I'm doing everything on a sliding scale, I'm not asking them to go out there and look like an SEC championship team. I'm asking them to go out there and play well for them. Don't turn it over 19 times. For the game, turn it over 11. Shoot a high percentage on free throws. Make shots at the rim. Rebound. There is nothing that South Carolina does on either end of the floor that's any good. Nothing. I don't know how much more blunt I can be. And I'm certainly not suggesting that LSU is some juggernaut in one aspect of the game. I'm talking about South Carolina. So here's your chance. Go out there and get a win. I'll be pulling for them big time tomorrow. I hope they go out there and get a win. It'd just be so good for these guys who are working every bit as hard as the team that's winning a bunch of games. They just don't have the results to show for it. Tomorrow you can. So I'm very, very hopeful for LSU that they can get it done tomorrow against South Carolina. Tip-off inside the PMAC. Again, South Carolina 9-17 on the year, 2-11 in SEC play. If LSU can get this thing close in the second half, make some winning plays, this is certainly a game that they can win. This team lost to Ole Miss. That's hard to do at this point in the calendar. So LSU and South Carolina tomorrow, very much looking forward to that. All right, I've teased it for 30 minutes. Wanted to get to 90 minutes to first pitch because that's when the lineups generally come out. In the next segment, I can promise you that I will give you LSU's lineup as they open the season against Western Michigan inside Alec Buck Stadium. Come back with us on the Hunt Palmer Show.
This is Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. Bulls, Bands, and Barrels at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. With bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman with Timothy Wayne. February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center, 7 p.m.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs.
The Monday edition of Handy Time will be hosted by Max Gotro, a recap of the weekend in college basketball and the opening weekend of college baseball. Handy Time, noon weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, gang, y'all ready for the lineup? Let's give you the opening day lineup for your Fighting Tigers of LSU. It's got some wrinkles in it that I, quite frankly, was not expecting, but that's just fine. We'll break it down 1 through 9. Leading off, playing right field for your Fighting Tigers of LSU, Paxton Kling, true freshman out in right field. Hitting second, playing left field, Braden Jobert, the senior left-hander, slugger. He had 18 home runs last year. Playing left field and hitting second. In the 3-hole, center fielder Dylan Cruz. Hitting cleanup, Tommy White playing third base. So your top 4, Kling, Jobert, Cruz, and White. Trey Morgan will play first base and hit fifth. Freshman Jared Jones is your designated hitter today. Brady Neal, the freshman, is going to catch, the third true freshman in this starting lineup. Neal in the 7-hole. Jordan Thompson is going to hit 8th and play shortstop. And in the 9-hole, playing second base, it'll be transfer Ben Napolt hitting left-handed. Of course, Paul Skeens is your opening day starter. Now, LSU's facing a right-handed arm from Western Michigan today. So let's go through this lineup and what I take from it. Very, very surprised to see Paxton Kling and Braden Jobert as your 1-2 there. I understand the rationale. Cruz and White are hitting behind those guys. You have to do everything in your power to be sure that Paxton Kling and Braden Jobert don't get on base, so you have to face the 2 most prolific power-hitting hitters in the entire country. So it makes sense from that perspective. On the other hand, I don't love it. Jobert's not a huge on-base percentage guy. Now, he was never hitting in front of Dylan Cruz last year, so that makes things a little bit different. But I still think teams are going to understand you can't lay fastballs in there to this guy, even though you're trying not to walk him because Cruz is next. You're going to challenge him with some breaking stuff, especially from left-handers. But today's a right-handers on the mound, so Jobert's in there. I like the idea, personally, of a starting pitcher going through his warm-ups and understanding that he would have to face Trey Morgan, Dylan Cruz, and Tommy White in that order in the first inning. That would be my line of thinking here. Clearly not Jay's. He sees big-time power potential from two sides of the plate in front of those two guys, and Paxton Kling, who's – I'll keep making this comparison. You'll see him, but most of y'all have not seen Paxton Kling yet because most people don't go see scrimmages. He's in a profile perspective, he's Mikey Mato. He may not be the SEC Player of the Year, may not be a first-round pick, he may not make the big leagues. He may be all those things. But he's tall, he's lean, he's strong, he's quick, he can run, he's got a big arm. He's got all the tools like Matuk did. And those two guys form a powerful duo at the top with the most powerful duo right behind them. You got Morgan back there in the 5-hole. I'm impressed that Jared Jones is getting the call today. Now, if you look at it from just a purely production in the preseason practices and scrimmages, Jones deserves it. He's shown prolific power, opposite field power, consistent power. He's driving the ball for doubles. He's been a great hitter in practice. But it's opening day. Lights are bright, and there's a right-hander on the mound, and Jones hits right-handed. So I thought they may go a different direction there. But I love seeing another freshman in there. Brady Neal is going to catch. I figured Milazzo would catch today, or / tonight, when I thought it was going to be a night game. Skeen's on the mound, throwing really hard. Lights are bright. Energy's high. Put the veteran out there. Let him catch. However, you're facing a righty, and Neal's a left-handed hitter, and Neal's a great player, and they want to get him out there. Milazzo's going to start a game this weekend, I'm sure. Sounds like it may be tomorrow when LSU faces a lefty. But I also did not know and do not know what Skeen's preference is to who he wants catching him. A lot of times pitchers can be pretty opinionated on that deal, and they want their guy back there. I don't know who that is. It may be Neal, but I was curious to see what Skeens would want. And Neal's getting the call, so that's huge for the true freshman. That's a third true freshman in the lineup. But Neal starts a 7-8-9 that's got some real offensive ability in this lineup. You got Neal at the 7-hole, Jordan Thompson hitting 8 at shortstop. I think he's primed for a really nice year. And then you got Ben DePolt, who gives you really good at-bats from the left side of the plate in the 9-hole. So I love the fact that you've got three guys who can hit at the bottom of this order, and then you turn it back over to Kling, Jobert, Cruz, and White. It's potent. The other thing that Jay really likes, I think it's probably a little bit more impactful at the professional level, which is why they make them now pitch to three guys when they come in the game, because the lefty-righty is a big deal. More often in college, you just have your A relievers. Some programs are good enough where you want the lefty and the righty, and you can kind of match up. Most guys, I've got a lefty down there, but he's not nearly as good as this righty, so I'm going to go with this righty. You don't match up quite as much in college baseball. It's a bigger deal in the MLB. But if you look at this thing, just going 1 through 9, you go right-handed, left-handed, right-handed, right-handed, left-handed, right-handed, left-handed, right-handed, left-handed, right-handed. There's only one time in this 1 through 9 where you go back-to-back right-handed, and I'll tell you, that's not a huge issue for this lineup because it's Cruz and White. I don't care who your right-hander is. He still may have a little bit of trouble with that. So everything is alternating left, right, 1 through 9, except Cruz and White, and that includes 9 to 1, where you go Napolt, who hits left-handed, and then Kling, who comes back and right-handed. So I personally would do it a little bit differently. I think Jay's a little better baseball coach than me, so I'll certainly get on board with it. There's really no wrong way you can stack this thing against Western Michigan, and things will shake themselves out. But it's just fascinating to me that this putting Kling and Jobert up there 1 and 2, the guys that will have the most at-bats in this game, if everything goes according to plan, is those two. So guys that are notably not playing, specifically against a right-handed pitcher, Josh Pearson not in the lineup, that's an indication of just how much he's been fighting it in the fall and early on in practice. He just has not swung the bat very well. When I put on Twitter earlier this morning my projected lineup, I had Pearson in the 9-hole playing because I know that the staff trusts him. And Jay said that yesterday in his press conference, we trust Pearson, but they're not going with him even against a right-handed pitcher, which is a little bit surprising to me. Not playing in the game today, we see Alex Milazzo not starting in the game, I should say. Alex Milazzo not starting. Cade Beloso, Gavin Dugas, two guys that you thought maybe a hat tip coming back for a super senior year. They are not in the starting lineup, but I think obviously if LSU can take care of their business and swing the bats the way they should, they'll eventually find their way into the lineup later in the game. And so I think you will see a significant amount of substitutions should LSU grab a quick lead in this game. I'm not going to do a lot of talking about Western Michigan, about their arms, about their bats. I don't think really any of it matters. You're playing a team from Kalamazoo, Michigan, where it's been 15 degrees for 3 months straight. They really haven't practiced outside very much. And, oh, by the way, their flight down here got canceled, so they got on their bus at 5 o'clock in the morning yesterday and drove 18 hours to Baton Rouge. So, bit of a rough day yesterday for Western Michigan. Maybe an even rougher day today once they start playing baseball. But it's going to be a gorgeous one out there at the box. If you're on the way out there, enjoy that gorgeous weather. Be safe getting in. And let's make some noise over at the box today. I got one more baseball segment here in this hour. When we come back, I'm going to give you kind of some thoughts on what I'd like to see this weekend as well as what I think we will see as far as the pitching goes. So that's our lineup. One more time if you want me to run through it. If you're just jumping in and want me to run through the lineup for you. It'll be Paxton Kling leading off playing right field, Braden Jobert in the 2-hole playing left, Dylan Cruz in center field will be the 3-hole hitter, Tommy White hitting cleanup playing third base, Trey Morgan, the first baseman, is in the 5-hole, Jared Jones will DH and hit 6th, Brady Neal, the catcher, hits 7th, in the 8-hole you got Jordan Thompson at short, and Ben DePolt will hit 9th and play second base behind Paul Skeens. We'll come back, close out hour number 1. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford. BayouFord.com is the website. Every single new purchase comes with a 1,000,000-mile powertrain warranty. For the life of that vehicle, you will have it under that powertrain warranty. Don't settle because they don't have exactly what you want on the lot, whether it's another dealership or it's Bayou Ford. Let Bayou Ford, Ben Gagne and his team, customize a vehicle for you. Maybe it's an Explorer. I tell you about mine all the time because I've loved all 3 of the Explorers I've driven. One of them got me to Gainesville, Florida, Knoxville, Tennessee, Lexington, Kentucky, Atlanta for the SC Championship game. It drove me all over the place when I was in college. The one I'm in right now has room for the car seat for the Myers man right behind me. Still got room for the golf clubs back there as well. Got the bucket seats. It's awesome. I love my Explorer. Maybe you need more room. The Expedition can offer you that. If you're a truck person, F-150, always a great option. Maybe you're looking for a Bronco or a Mustang. Bayou Ford can help you out and they can customize a vehicle that meets your exact needs if you just give them 60 to 90 days to have it turned around. And they promise you they'll give you the Bayou to you guarantee, which means when that car comes in, they will drive it right to your front door with the paperwork. You never have to leave the house. BayouFord.com is the website. BayouFord.com is the website. Bayou Ford, they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus 2-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the Entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Louisiana, It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are...
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Opening day at the Box, we'll have updates from LSU Western Michigan, and the Riot Radio Hours return. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Happy Friday, everybody. Hope your Friday is going great. Gorgeous, gorgeous weather here in South Louisiana. I got a bunch of friends that are already down in the French Quarter, living it up on Mardi Gras weekend. Got some folks that are headed out to the Box. Hope it's a safe, happy, and enjoyable weekend for everybody. A lot of people taking some extended time. A lot of kids out of school next week. I mean, the whole morning show is going to Disney World, and whoever knows where else everybody's going. I'm going to be here working next week, but there's going to be a lot to talk about, so I'll be here just fine with that. Hope your weekend's off to a very, very good start. LSU and Western Michigan coming up at 3 o'clock. We'll have the broadcast over on Eagle 98.1 starting at 2:30 with Chris Blair and Doug Thompson. First pitch just after 3 over on Eagle 98.1. Wanted to get to a few more things on this weekend of baseball before we transition out of things in second hour. And I'm going to head to the Box starting at 2:30. Taylor's going to take you home for the last 30 minutes of my show. A couple things that I expect to see this weekend at the Box. I understand that the starting rotation is Paul Skeens, Riley Cooper, and Chase Shores. I also think you're going to see Ty Floyd throw a lot of pitches in an outing this weekend. Maybe tonight with a lead, today I guess, maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I expect to see 40 or 50 pitches out of Ty Floyd at some point this weekend because they're still going to stretch him out. This is not we're going with Skeens, we're going with Cooper, we're going with Shores. Nice try, Ty. Grab a bullpen. We'll get you for 7 or 8 pitches to get out of the 7th here. It's not how this is going to go. They need to extend him, and they're going to. So I expect to see him at some point for 40 or 50 pitches, and excited to see how Ty Floyd looks because a lot of the time in practices over the last 3 weeks, he's looked very, very good. I also expect to see, as far as pitching goes, Nate Ackenhausen. I haven't seen him in person since fall. I have not seen him when the times I've been out to see scrimmages and practice over the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's a guy that I think this staff really believes can be a difference maker on this team. And I believe, I don't know this, I think this, that Ackenhausen in his emergence, in his ability from the left side, and what they think Griffin Herring can become, gives them some flexibility to use Riley Cooper as a starter, to use Riley Cooper as a closer, to move him around to do, as Jay says, affect winning. If you had to have him in the lefty bullpen spots, that's where he would have to go. But because you've got other left-handers, it frees you up a little bit. And I think Ackenhausen is the first there. So I'm excited to see Nate Ackenhausen, lefty, good pitch ability, fastball in the low 90s. It's going to seem like he doesn't throw very hard compared to the rest of the staff. Lefties that throw 98, not in college very often. So you're going to have to deal with lefties who are in the low 90s on this LSU staff. Ackenhausen fits that bill. I'm excited to see him. Last thing, and of that ilk, you're going to see fastballs approaching 100 miles an hour in this weekend. Skeens, Shores, Moffitt on the right day, although this weekend's probably not the right day. I need it to be a little bit warmer. You're going to see fastballs creeping up towards 100 miles an hour. That's what this staff's got. And if you've heard some of the sound that we've played on this show that Cody Worsham got on their One Team, One podcast, or I guess that's the Winning Time LSU podcast. Cody's got it. They do a great job over at LSU. But he did a sit-down with Skeens and Thatcher Hurd, and they were talking about the pitch lab and all the things that they use. And even the pitchers were well-versed in how it is that they're creating velocity. It's weight manipulation and shift and where it is in your legs on the land and on the plant and all that kind of stuff. And then you get your rotation and the spin rate and all this kind of stuff. They understand how to create velocity over there, and they're doing it. And they're throwing really hard. And there are multiple guys in the staff that can run it up near 100 miles an hour. You're going to see that over the weekend. So that's what I got on the pitching side. Ty Floyd throwing 40 to 50 pitches in a game. Ackenhausen at some point from the left side, and fastballs approaching 100 miles an hour. Offensively, one thing I would like to see in this game, he's probably going to start a game or two this weekend, quite frankly, but I'm a little bit disappointed he's not in there today. Because I think Josh Pearson can be a really impact player for this team. He just has not been in the fall and through the last 3 weeks. I'd like to see him out there against this bullpen. Feast on some 86-mile-an-hour heaters that don't move a lot. Get your confidence up. That's the recipe for getting him out of this. He's a guy that we think, when the lights come on, will do the job. It's just been a rough go for him here of late. And you see that when you talk about a guy who was a huge piece to what they were doing in May and June of last year, and you come back to opening day and he's not in the lineup. Get him some at-bats against his bullpen. I'd like to start him on Tuesday against Grambling. Get him rolling. Left-handed bat, got some power, really productive as a freshman. I know what the last few weeks have been like. Let's try to get Pearson rolling. I'll be watching his at-bats with some added interest as well. And the last thing here, not something you show up to the ballpark necessarily honed in on, but it's something I'll certainly be paying attention to because it's important for this team, is improved catcher defense. You got to block the ball. You got to throw guys out. You got to play defense back there, and far too often they were compromised at defense, whether it was depth, injury, just a little bit of an offensive skew to the position. You got to play better defense at catcher. Neal's going to start today. I've been impressed with a lot of the things that he's done defensively. He's not quite as good as Milazzo, but you're not selling out for a bat here. He's a quality defender who's got phenomenal upside as a hitter. I said on this show that of the offensive players in this class, I thought that Brady Neal was the most important. Not that he had the brightest future. I think Paxton Kling certainly fits that bill, and now we see Jared Jones is making a strong push. But because you can find a hitter like Paxton Kling or Jared Jones more quickly than you can find a hitter that can play quality defense at catcher. And Brady Neal can do that. Think of the catchers that LSU's had on their last few really good teams. Pat got white hot in Omaha, but he was a career 240, 235 hitter. Really struggled out of the gate his junior year. He got hot in Omaha. He got hot in the regional the year before that, but was a better defensive player than he was a hitter for the most of his career. Ty Ross was on a couple of really good teams. He wasn't a very good hitter at all, but he played good defense. You had a really strong year from Savick at catcher. Micah Gibbs was a great hitter who was not a great defender, but he's a great hitter. But finding a good defender who can really hit like Brady Neal is tough to find, and they've got him now locked in for 3 years here in Baton Rouge. So between he and Milazzo, I expect some really good defense at the catcher spot over the weekend. I will certainly be looking for that all weekend long. Exciting, exciting day. You can't tell to my voice, I'm a little bit fired up. Got a little carried away in the open. It happens. I forgot what I was going to say. I was slurring words. It happens. It's opening day. You get fired up. And we're just over 1 hour from first pitch out at Alec Box Stadium, where Paul Skeens will get this thing cooking against Western Michigan. I'll be with you here until 2:30, and then Taylor will take over for the final 30 minutes of the show. We'll play some Take It or Leave It. Got some other things he wants to talk to you about. And then Matt will come with you at 3 o'clock for After Further Review. I don't know that he'll talk a ton of baseball because they'll be playing. So if you're a guy or girl who's not just all baseball all the time this time of year, want to hear about some other things, I think Matt will probably have you covered from 3 to 6. So lock in to AFR when he comes on after we are done here. I got one reminder here for you. This February, 104.5 ESPN and Citizens Bank and Trust are here to offer you a holiday rebate to the tune of $2,000 in cash. We'll also be selecting a local prize winner to take $1,000 in cash. So sign up at 1045ESPN.com. If you missed any of the first hour, you can always catch it on demand. 1045ESPN.com's on demand tab. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, also on YouTube, where we got a bunch of folks hanging out in the Bayou Ford chat. Open the show up with my 5 bold predictions for this LSU baseball team. I've got them noted here in my Google Doc. We will be probably referencing them throughout the year, and we'll certainly run a report card check back on it when the season is over. I gave you 5 what I would think are bold predictions at the top of the show at 1 o'clock. South Carolina LSU basketball preview came at you at 1:15. LSU got a real chance to win a ball game tomorrow on its home floor. Lineup was out at 1:30, so I went through that. Kind of my thoughts on the positives, things that I didn't necessarily agree with that are in the lineup, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to go out there and they're going to play. That's all in the first hour. Hour number 2 gets you caught up and set up for SEC hoops coming up on Saturday, and I will hand the baton over to Taylor Sharp at 2:30 because I got places to be. Actually, one place to be for LSU and Western Michigan. Come back with us after Sports Center. You're listening to the Capital City's leader in sports talk, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus 2-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the Entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them. Because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
Mitchell, John Rahm is 3 off the lead. Rory McIlroy's 4 back. Live coverage on ESPN+. Free agent quarterback Derek Carr will visit with the Jets this weekend. Owner Woody Johnson recently told reporters the team's top priority this offseason is bringing in a veteran QB. The status of Bucs superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo for NBA All-Star Weekend's uncertain because of a sprained right wrist. That injury is something to keep an eye on, explains ESPN's Tim Legler.
It's not just in shooting a basketball, which is obviously a concern. It's also defensively. Your hand is constantly in guys' lower backs. You're always reaching, and that's more instinctive. You're not really trying to protect it at all, and you end up putting that wrist into exactly the types of flexion motions I'm talking about, and it just continually irritates it.
Tim Legler on First Take. Third baseman Manny Machado says he plans to exercise the opt-out clause in his contract with the Padres after the 2023 Major League season.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Now, Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
1 hour to first pitch at Alec Box Stadium, LSU in Western Michigan in the season opener. If you're headed out there, enjoy it. It's going to be a fun one in the box. We're local with you here until 6 o'clock. I'll be with you for the next 30 minutes. Taylor Sharp for the 30 minutes to follow that, leading into Matt Moscona on After Further Review from 3 to 6. So lock us in here on a gorgeous Friday in the capital city. Got some ESPN prognostications for next NFL season. I want to see how heavy things are for the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. We'll get to that here in 15 minutes. But SEC basketball tomorrow, a couple of big ones on the docket. It starts at noon on CBS. Number 10, Tennessee, is headed to Rupp. You know, Cal has his way with the media. And I've continuously said this over the last month. But Kentucky's fascinating to me, far more than Tennessee or Bama or Florida, just because of the passion that comes with Kentucky basketball. I didn't get a great sense of it growing up in Shreveport because I never went to any college basketball games other than Centenary, the Gents playing at the Gold Dome. Can't tell you that was exactly rocking or quite the same as going to a Kentucky basketball game. But I was impacted early on in my time here in Baton Rouge when every year, once a year, Kentucky would come to the PMAC and they'd bring like 4,000 people. Like, where do these people come from? And I finally heard it in a press conference. Cal said, yeah, it's really hard to get Kentucky tickets at Rupp. People have had them for decades, generations, and they don't come up all that often, and they're expensive. So people's best way to come see Kentucky basketball to catch us on the road where they can get more inexpensive tickets and maybe drive somewhere a little bit closer, or go to the SEC tournament where tickets are more readily available. It's just, it's massively, it's such a passionate fan base. And because of that, everything's amplified and is more interesting to me. And this season is interesting to me because it could go one way where they build and build and build and they become a really tough out in the NCAA tournament and make a run, or it could peter out and all of a sudden you're looking at a team that didn't make the tournament again. And the differences there are they're not quite Bianco-esque, to use a phrase from Ole Miss baseball last year, where they were atrocious and then got hot and won the whole thing, and he went from getting fired to getting a statue in 6 weeks. But it's fascinating. And Kentucky's got a chance on its home floor tomorrow to knock off Tennessee, who's coming off beating Bama and is a top 10 team in the country, and would maybe put a stamp on Kentucky being a tournament team. You can certainly let the bottom fall out, and we know that, but you add that win to your resume, and it's impressive, especially because you'd have a sweep of Tennessee if you could do it. But if they lose, you're still fighting to try to get in the dance, and you have to sidestep bad losses and somehow go get some more big wins. So tomorrow, inside Rupp, it'll be Tennessee and Kentucky. Jimmy, if you heard him on his show earlier this morning, said, look, this is a revenge spot. Kentucky inexplicably went to the Tommy Bowl and beat Tennessee on Chris Lofton's jersey retirement day. They're coming for him. And that may be true, but Julian Phillips and Josiah Jordan-James are their two best wings. They didn't even play over the weekend, and I don't know if they're coming back for this game or not. So I don't know. I don't have the personnel for this game right now. I know that Cason Wallace is playing really good at point guard, and I know that Kentucky's been pretty balanced with their scoring of late. I'll take Tennessee to win this game. We'll see. But I will take the Vols to go to Rupp and win. Florida's playing Arkansas. Florida's now Castletonless. I don't know if that's a word, but you understand the gist of it. That's kind of a rudderless ship to me. They're going to play Arkansas, a team that is fighting for its tournament lives. And I can't help, different sport, different deal, but I can't help but look at this Arkansas basketball season and kind of clinch up thinking about this LSU baseball season. Because not that Arkansas was preseason number one, and not that they were the most talented team that ever played at Arkansas, but the expectation was this could be the next national championship team. We've been to the Elite Eight a couple years in a row. We've got these 5-stars coming in. We got a nice transfer from Wichita State. This could be awesome. And then a couple injuries, couple close losses, things have unraveled a little bit. I don't want to put bad juju on the baseball team, but I can't. I'm just telling you the truth. When I look at this Arkansas team, I look at a proud program, proud fan base, team that has had some success of late, pulled in a great transfer and signing class, has the coach they think is going to be the next guy, and they thought this was the year to do something great, and they're not doing anything great. And then I look over at the box and I go, don't let that happen, please. We'll see. I think Arkansas takes care of business at home against Florida. Florida could come out, like a caged gator, I guess, without Colin Castleton, but I like Arkansas to win that game. Egg Bowl on the hardwood. Mississippi State playing pretty well. 5-8. They continue to put NCAA tournament graphics up when Mississippi State plays. I don't really get that because I don't think they're a tournament team, but they're better than Ole Miss. And let me just tell you this. Ole Miss Rebels, defending national champions in baseball, the only sport they're relevant in and year out, welcoming that team back to Swayze. You think if given the opportunity, somebody's going to go watch that team outside at Swayze or go watch the basketball team go play inside against Mississippi State and get beat? I got news for you. Nobody's going to be at that game. They're all going to Swayze. I like State to go into Oxford and win fairly comfortably. Now, this game would be really good if it was a football game, but it's not. It's a basketball game, so it's going to get real ugly. Georgia's headed to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. Tide, probably a little cranky. If memory serves, last time Bama lost, they came out in a little bit of a bad mood. They went to Oklahoma and got beat badly. They came back and played Vanderbilt and won by 60. That's not good news for Georgia. This is a Bama team that went up to Knoxville, couldn't get shots to fall, turned it over a ton, lost. I'm sure Nate Oates was in his general chippy mood. And here comes little old Georgia, who struggled with LSU over the weekend. I think that one gets ugly in a hurry. Bama's going to take care of business. Big 12 game over in Columbia, Missouri. That's Texas A&M playing Missouri. Contrasting styles. A&M really took it to Missouri in College Station. This one's up in Columbia. We know the drill on Missouri by now. They might bang in 56% from the three-point line. They might go in the deep freeze like they did against Mississippi State. A&M's just playing too good right now. I whine about this twice a week on this show. You ought to know it by this point. I just believe that Buzz's team is firing on all cylinders. I think, unfortunately, this is a team that can win a couple tournament games. I don't think they're going to make the Final Four because I don't think they have the dudes. You run into a team that has real dudes, it could be a problem. But when they play your average college team, they're as well coached or better coached. They're old and they understand their roles. They just play really well. I think A&M goes to Missouri and wins. And your last one, nightcap SEC Network, is Auburn at Vanderbilt. Auburn 8-5 in the league. Vanderbilt now 7-6 in SEC play. Finally, maybe turning a corner for Jerry Stackhouse. It looked bad when they had lost 4 or 5, and now all of a sudden they've won 4 in a row. 2 of those on the road against Florida and South Carolina. And if they can beat Auburn, your next 2 are at LSU and then Florida without Castleton in Nashville. You could see a situation if they beat Auburn where they could win 7 in a row, which would be really something to sell for Jerry Stackhouse with his program. The game's in Nashville. Auburn has played some pretty poor games away from Auburn Arena. Neville Arena, I guess it is now, but Auburn Arena. I think Vanderbilt can really win this game. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Auburn won it by 20, but I'll take Vanderbilt at home to beat Auburn and continue to play good basketball. That stinks because they're showing up here next week, and I'd really prefer if they weren't playing very well, but they are. So I'll take Vanderbilt to beat Auburn. Again, if you missed LSU game time tomorrow, noon on the SEC Network against South Carolina, those 2 teams combined 3-23 in Southeastern Conference play. All right, one more segment from me here, then I'll pass it on to Taylor Sharp. When we come back, I'm just fascinated as we get outside the bubble what people think about Joe Burrow. ESPN asked a bunch of its writers who's going to be the MVP next year, who's going to play in the Super Bowl next year. I'll give you some thoughts on who they think that may be and how involved Joe Burrow and the Bengals are on the Hunt Palmer Show.
This is Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share.
Join us for the Monday edition of Game Time. We're live at Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. Charlie's in Franklin for Lundi Gras, but me and Max are holding the show down Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. Enjoying the boil, crawfish, and a whole lot more. Game Time on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
A little football talk here on a Friday. ESPN ran a story today, 2023 NFL predictions, early picks for Super Bowl, MVP, and breakouts. They just sampled and pulled some of their personalities from various different departments and got thoughts. And there are 10 of them that were polled here. And Stefania Bell, Matt Bowen, who's an analyst, Mike Clay does fantasy football for him, Tristan Cockcroft, who's fantasy football, Matt Miller, who's a draft analyst, Derek Moody, Jason Reed, Mike Tannenbaum, former front office member for the Jets, Seth Walder, who's a sports analytics guy, Field Yates, who you see do some fantasy stuff and some breaking news stuff. They polled them all. And I'm just curious to kind of look at it and see what they say about old Joe Burrow. I would be interested if they wanted to talk about the Saints, but the Saints are nowhere to be seen in the MVP, Super Bowl, or breakout player discussion. So on to the next, which would be the Bengals. And I was fascinated that of these 10 media members polled, 5 of them have the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Stefania Bell has 49ers over Bengals. Matt Bowen has Bengals over 49ers. Tristan Cockcroft has the Bengals over the 49ers. Mike Tannenbaum, Bengals over Cowboys. Taylor, how about that? He laughed. That's 5 that have picked the Bengals to make the Super Bowl, even as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs climb the ladder, no Tyreek Hill, and with the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes and just won another Super Bowl, they still have the Bengals in. They have now 4 of them have the Chiefs. I didn't go back and see who the one AFC team they had that was not Chiefs or Bengals. Let's see. Seth Walder, Dolphins over Eagles. Okay. When the Dolphins had 2 on the field this year, they generated 0.13 expected points added per play. That's a little bit more than I want to dive into, added points per play. But that's interesting. But seems like Chiefs and Bengals, top 2 dogs in the AFC, according to these folks, and that's certainly not crazy. The interesting part is the Bills are nowhere to be seen here, which was kind of a recurring theme late in the season. The Bills just kind of weren't as great as we thought they might be, and Burrow and Mahomes continue to play awesome football. So I'm excited by that, and we'll see what the Bengals will able to do in the offseason. They've got some teams that they've got to get by, but more importantly for this market, the conversation always circles around Joe Burrow, and I'm curious, as of the 10, if anybody thought that Joe Burrow might be an MVP pick. Well, Stefania Bell, MVP pick. Joe Burrow, Bengals. Cockcroft, MVP pick, Joe Burrow, Bengals. Matt Miller, MVP pick, Joe Burrow, Bengals. Field Yates, MVP pick, Joe Burrow, Bengals. 4 of the 10 had Joe Burrow as the MVP Mahomes only got 2. So part of this is maybe trying to be the smartest person in the room, not trying to default to what you've just seen, make something interesting for people to read. If you got 9 people that put Mahomes and 8 that say the Chiefs are going to make the Super Bowl, is that an interesting piece? I don't know. You tell me. But for me, and if you've been listening to this show all year long and dating back to last year, really, as the Bengals made their run, it's been fascinating to watch folks gravitate towards Joe Burrow and speak to the excellent level of his play because, quite frankly, you're going to have a hard time tuning into this airway or anybody in your local coffee shop or bar or church group or anybody in the media that covers LSU. You're going to have a hard time finding somebody around here that's going to say, yeah, Burrow, he just doesn't quite have it. I'm not sold. Or that was a really poor effort. Or I don't think he's going to get much better. Maybe it was a flash in the pan. Like, nobody around here is going to say that. We've seen too much. I'm not going to say jaded. We're too exposed to the greatness to maybe look at it as objectively as some of the people outside of our bubble would be. But when you continue to see the guys on Get Up, whether it's Orlovsky or Greenberg or Rex Ryan or whoever it is, or any of these guys on ESPN or any of the folks that do film study on Twitter that are throwing things out and about, and they continue to sing the praises of Joe Burrow, it's just cool. And it's something that, my sports calendar is pretty set. Today is a huge day for me every year. The next 4 months, I'm locked into the journey of baseball. It's what I love. I love the man, Jordan Thompson's struggling at shortstop right now, fielding ground balls. Doty's not really a shortstop, but we're going to switch them over for a second. And we got to make a change. What is that going to do to this lineup? And is that sustainable? And is that what we're going to do? And here comes Josh Pearson, who hasn't really been starting, but they gave him a look, and he was 3 for 4, and over 2 days he got 5 hits, and 3 of them were doubles. Like, he could be a guy, and you get the point. Like, it's an organism that just grows and grows and evolves over the course of 4 months. I love that. That's part of it. In the middle of that, the Cubs get rolling, and they're part of my deal all summer long. And then you get into July and August, and you've got LSU football that cranks up, and I'm paying attention to recruiting as well. And that's my plate's kind of been the same for 20 years. And now the Bengals have kind of become a little side on the plate. And I'm not nearly committed to the Bengals in the way that I am committed to getting to the box here in 40 minutes. But this feels sustainable for the next 10 or 12 years with Joe. Reasonably, he'd play 14 years in the league at a pretty high level. Not a lock, but it feels like it. And those people that are far more unbiased than I see it that way, where the Bengals got the most Super Bowl votes and Joe got the most MVP votes from this ESPN.com story. So that's cool. But no more Bengals talk from me today. It is all eyes on the LSU baseball Tigers, and that's how I want to close my portion of the show today, is where I just left you. This is my favorite sport, college baseball, because of the reason I just expressed with that journey. There's nothing in this town that can produce the event that is Saturday night in Death Valley, or the magic that can go in a 2011 season or a 2019 season. Of course, only one of those got finished off, but that's always going to be the biggest deal in this town, and I love it. But college baseball is more my speed. If you've listened to me at any point, you understand how measured I am. I'm the one who's trying to talk, I think, people down to 20-10 in the SEC with this team, because I'm just not going to get keyed up into 26-4. Look at this team. Best team we've ever had. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I'm pumped. I'm giving you all that. But my temperament is to be never as low as most and never as high as most. I wasn't clamoring from the rafters when LSU beat Arkansas and played Kentucky to the wire. Oh, we got a better X's and O coach than Will Wade. You saw that a lot. Wait a second. We got to let this thing play out. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I'm not going to get that high that quick. And I'm also not telling you, this guy can't get it done. Not competitive. This is atrocious. I'm not wired like that. I just don't swing. My emotions don't swing that quickly. And that's why baseball is perfect, because you can do what Tennessee did last year and just freight train through everybody, and then poof, it's gone. And you can do what Ole Miss did last year. And you can be grossly underachieving for 2 months and then find it. And that may crown a more worthy champion in college football because you got to earn it from September all the way through. You really only have to earn it in June here as long as you get there, and Ole Miss was the last team in. But it fits my personality. So as of 35 minutes from now, the ship sets sail. There'll be some calm seas with an absolute tailwind where LSU's roaring. And there's going to be some bumps and some chops. And I like those too. It's just part of it. Cannot wait to get to the box and watch these guys play. We'll have a full reaction to it coming up on Monday's show. Certainly going to be looking back at LSU and South Carolina on the hardwood too. Hopefully the Tigers can snap this for those guys who have put in so much work. But most of the focus on this town is going to be on baseball starting here in 35 minutes. That's going to do it for me here on this Friday. Still got Matt Moscona's After Further Review coming at you from 3 to 6. When we come back from this timeout, Taylor Sharp going to sit in the captain's chair and get you to 3 o'clock. He'll have some stuff to talk about, and they'll do some take it or leave it at the end of the show. I'm headed to the box. Hope to see y'all out there. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com. David Duvall and his team been in the game for 30 years. How much better would your home function and look if you had a beautiful, renovated master bathroom? They can do the whole thing. They're licensed contractors over at One Bath and Closets. Or maybe it's as simple as a tub-to-shower conversion. That doesn't break the bank, doesn't have someone invading your home for months and months on end. Just pull that tub out, put in a gorgeous walk-in glass shower. Totally change the look and the functionality of that bathroom. Closets as well. A lot of us have messy closets. Can't find things, too cluttered. Let David Duvall and his team come in there and customize a closet for you. If you tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you in, they're not going to charge you to rip out the closet, and they're not going to charge you for the installation, the labor of that new unit. They're just going to charge you for the unit. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you over to One Bath and Closets. Check out the website, testimonials, pictures, it's all there. onebathandclosets.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer.
The Monday edition of Handy Time will be hosted by Max Gotro, a recap of the weekend in college basketball and the opening weekend of college baseball. Handy Time, noon weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Hunt Palmer Show. No, I am not Hunt Palmer. Taylor Sharp here sitting in for Mr. Palmer. My guy's got a cushy gig. I mean, gets to leave 30 minutes early so he can catch first pitch. We can't all be as lucky as Mr. Palmer, but look, I'm hanging out with you for the next half hour or so before we lead you up to not only Mr. Matt Moscona, but first pitch of LSU baseball. Opening game, 3 p.m. at Alex Box Stadium. I'm sure most of you will be in attendance. Okay, so all the shows all day long have been talking baseball, and we're going to get there. I'm not going to not talk baseball for the next 30 minutes, but Hunt Palmer, being the sick individual he is, hit one football segment, and I am not going to stand for that. I am a football guy, a football junkie. This is South Louisiana. We can't go a whole show without talking football. So, look, I am an absolute football nerd. So last night I was kind of digging into, who are the Saints going to sign a quarterback? Are they going to bring back Andy Dalton? What are they going to do? They've been in the Derek Carr sweepstakes for a long time. There's other options out there, and they're a lot less expensive than Derek Carr. Personally, I'm a fan of Derek Carr. I'm probably a lot higher on Carr than most people. The problem with a Derek Carr, if you're going to spend that kind of money on a quarterback, you want a championship roster around him. I don't think the Saints roster is that good. And frankly, he visited with the New York Jets today. I know it's hard to hear this as Saints fans. Jets probably have a better roster right now than the Saints, at least on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you got a Garrett Wilson, you got two good running backs, you got Corey Davis out there. If I'm Derek Carr, I'm probably signing with the Jets. That is, if Aaron Rodgers' darkness retreat doesn't tell him to migrate over to New York. But let's say they don't get Derek Carr. Baker Mayfield's a name that's been thrown around a lot. I am the biggest Baker Mayfield fan on the planet. I have no less than 3 Baker Mayfield jerseys in my closet. Some of you probably spit out your water or whatever adult beverage you're drinking pregame for LSU baseball hearing that. But I do. I like Baker. I think that he's kind of gotten an unfair shake of things. The guy basically has to learn a different offense every single year. I mean, he had Kevin Stefanski 2 years in Cleveland. One of those years he went to the playoff. He had a little bit of stability. He was on 2 teams this past year. Now, frankly, Carolina didn't work out the way it probably he wanted it to, and I don't think he handled that situation very well. But he goes to Los Angeles where they have some stability in the coaching staff with a Sean McVay. And what does he do? He looks really good. I mean, he's on the team all of 5 minutes in a Thursday night football game. He leads them on a 98-yard drive with no timeouts left to win that game. The guy has some ability. So I am all for Baker Mayfield. And then you hear names like, oh, could we bring back a Teddy Bridgewater? That sort of thing. Gardner Minshew's name's been thrown around. As I'm looking, though, I'm looking at the free agent market right now of quarterbacks. There's a guy out there. He threw for 1,900 yards last year, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Got benched, I think wrongly benched, and he made $2.3 million last year. That's Taylor Heineke, coming from the Washington Commanders. He's a guy that, look, again, he's not going to turn your franchise around. He's probably not even going to lead you to the playoffs. But right now, Saints' best case scenario is either Derek Carr, spend a ton of money on him, and maybe waste that money on a roster that's not good enough to make the playoffs, or find a solid bridge quarterback. Heineke can play ball. I mean, he's an absolute gamer. We saw it 2 years ago. That's kind of when we got the first taste of a Taylor Heineke. What did he do? When Brady won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, it was this Washington Redskins team. They were 4 points away from beating that team. Heineke's a high throw in the back of the end zone from beating Tom Brady. and they were down double digits in that game. Heineke led them back. He's a guy that he's a more athletic Alex Smith, if you will. And I know that's an easy comparison. They both played in Washington, but he doesn't make a ton of mistakes. He's a pretty athletic guy. Again, he made $2.3 million last year. If you double that, you're still only paying your quarterback $5 million a year. He's a guy that there's not going to be a huge market for because he's not a flashy name. But if you're looking for a safe bridge, Heineke's a guy that no one's really talking about where, I mean, look, again, I love Baker Mayfield, but is Baker that much better than Taylor Heineke? He hasn't been the last couple of years. Just a thought. I'm not saying that the Saints should go out and spend all this money on Heineke, but maybe at least kick the tires on him to see what's up. Okay, we are now going to transition into LSU baseball. I know you guys are clamoring for it. You're excited. First pitch, 25 minutes away from right now. What I'm really looking for in this game, everyone all week long is like, oh, I can't wait for the lineup to be released, which it just was about an hour ago. I'm so excited to see this team hit. This team's going to hit. I've heard enough. I've heard everything I need to hear about this lineup. I'm more concerned with the pitching staff, and maybe that's a wrong word. I'm not concerned. I'm the most intrigued with the pitching staff, and here's why. None of the guys that contributed anything to your pitching staff last year are really projected to do much of anything this year, with the exception of Riley Cooper. But if you remember last year, Cooper was that middle reliever, that lefty that you went to out of the pen if you needed a solid lefty. It was Cooper. He's your Saturday starter now. So he's in a different role. Paul Skeens, he's your Friday guy. You're going to see him in a few minutes. He was at Air Force last year. Chase Shores, true freshman. I mean, he's 6'8" with a cannon, but he's a true freshman. Look at the guys that were contributors last year. Blake Money, haven't heard anything about him. Samuel Dutton, haven't heard anything about him. That was your Friday and your Sunday guy for most of last year. And I think that's a testament to, not that those guys have taken a step back, even though they were shaky last year. This pitching staff is going to be really, really good. I'm excited to see it. And I think they have variety with both righties and lefties. Because, look, you're going the typical righty-lefty matchup, which I love. You're going Skeens, Cooper, Shores, righty-lefty, right. I like that. But look at the guys coming out of the pen. I just mentioned last year, Riley Cooper, kind of your only lefty that you had any confidence in. Now, Jacob Hasty at times did some things, but he was shaky. You got Nate Ackenhausen, who yesterday in Coach Jay Johnson's press conference, he said Nate Ackenhausen is ready to play right now. And that's high praise from Jay Johnson to say about a true freshman. Look at the other guys you got in the pen. Bryce Collins is really the only guy from last year's team. All these other guys, Christian Little, he has a lot of experience, not here though, being at Vanderbilt. So this pitching staff is entirely new, but you got to take into consideration, you got a brand new pitching coach as well. I think that's something that is lost on a lot of people. And look, I think that Jason Kelly did a pretty admirable job last year. I thought that pitching staff lacked in talent in much needed areas. Again, I just mentioned your 3 weekend starters last year were Mikhail Hilliard, Blake Money, and Sammy Dutton. And Hilliard became your Friday guy. Love Mikhail Hilliard to death. I think that he did a lot of great things here. He was always a steady hand. If Mikhail Hilliard's your Friday night guy, that's an issue. I mean, you got guys throwing 100. What was it all leading up to this? All offseason, all fall camp. It was, you got 6 guys that could fill 3 spots. I mean, Ty Floyd, we thought he was going to be a starting pitcher. Thatcher Hurd, who was a stud at UCLA, everyone thought he was going to slide in there. He's not a starting pitcher. Now, can he become that? Probably. I would say that that's likely to occur, but maybe not. We'll have to see what Riley Cooper does. I know a lot of people were iffy on Cooper, saying, oh, you know, he's a relief guy. He's not a starter. 1, we've never seen him in that starting role here. 2, if you remember last year, Samuel Dutton was your Sunday guy. He went out there, give you 3, 4, 5 solid innings. I think that's what Cooper's going to do. I think that, you know, maybe on Saturday you see Riley Cooper and then a heavy dose of Ty Floyd. Because this pitching staff I just mentioned has so many arms that can hurt you. Really, the only person you're missing is Grant Taylor. Now, that's a big blow, but on last year's staff, if a guy like Grant Taylor goes down, it's catastrophic. It's your season's almost over before it even starts. But I think that's a testament to Jay Johnson and Wes Johnson of getting this staff right. Now let's look at the offensive side of things. We saw what Jay Johnson did with the lineup. He basically went righty-lefty all the way through the batting order. You got guys like Brady Neal in there for offense. Jared Jones, who's hit the cover off the ball all camp long. He's in there at DH. Braden Joubert in right field, and he's batting second. So you got Kling, Joubert, Cruz, and Tommy White, 1 through 4. I love that because Kling and Joubert certainly have power. Definitely Joubert. We saw it from last year. But if those guys can consistently get on base, how are you going to get out a Cruz and a Tommy White back-to-back? I love that. This team's going to hit a lot this weekend. I think five home runs isn't out of the question. You could maybe see even more than that. And I'm not exaggerating because, look, they're starting Western Michigan is. They're going righty, lefty, righty as well. They're starting Brady Miller today. This guy's supposed to be their Friday night guy. He hasn't pitched in 18 months. He was injured all last season, did not throw at all. His 2021 numbers, I'd say he leaves a lot to be desired. A 1-6 record, 9.07 ERA. That's your Friday guy. That's the guy that you're trusting to go out there on opening day and pitch against the number one team in the country. Your left-handed guy that you're going to face tomorrow, Dane Armbrustmacher, super common last name there. ERA-wise, he's by far your best starter, but that's not saying a whole lot. 6.47 ERA. And then rounding it out on Sunday, Ethan Hoteling, he's a righty. He pitched last year, not very well though, 10.68 ERA in 2022. This lineup's going to hit, and they are going to hit a lot. It is something that I'm looking to see. And again, going back to the pitchers, that's why the pitchers is the thing I'm going to be watching the most. I'm as excited as all of you are as well to see this batting lineup. They're going to hit, and they're going to hit against pretty much every team they play. There's that much talent. Pitching staff is what's going to do it, because even last year, I know we always talk about they lacked talent in 2022. They did. Their batting lineup was okay. Again, it was those pitchers. You look at the weekend starters you had last year. I mentioned earlier, Riley Cooper, the only left-handed pitcher you really had any confidence in coming out of the pen. That's going to change. Nate Ackenhausen. Forgot to mention Griffin Herring. He's a guy they're really high on. Not to mention all the righties that are coming out of the pen. You got Chase Shore starting, and he's not the only freshman that could have started on this weekend rotation. I think LSU sweeps this weekend. I really do. I think that it's going to be pretty lopsided as well. And I'm not one of those unrealistic expectation guys. I know everybody in the YouTube chat always makes fun of Hunt Palmer trying to temper his expectations. I'm with Hunt. 20-10 SEC record, but this weekend, make your way out there if you can. I think there's going to be some fireworks happening in Alex Box Stadium. All right, look, we're a little early. I'm going to cut this segment a little short because there's a lot I want to get into. Me, Paul O'Neill, Casey Gaines. We're going to discuss a little bit on take it or leave it. A lot to talk about. But, again, I think the Tigers sweep. I think they handle this with ease. I think we're in for an exciting season. So we'll be back. We got to take one more time out. We're going to close it out next here on the Hunt Palmer Show.
This is Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, And LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Opening day at the box, we'll have updates from LSU Western Michigan, and the Riot Radio Hours return. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, one more segment to go here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharp hanging out with you. Hunt took off early to go to Alex Box to watch the game. What a cushy job that guy has. Anyways, we got one more segment before we wrap it up and head out to the weekend. I know most of you will be heading to Alex Box at least at some point this weekend. But before we wrap it up, Paul O'Neill is going to take over my duties. We're going to wrap it up the same we do every day with a little take it or leave it. Mr. O'Neill, kick us off, man.
All right, Taylor, take it or leave it. A bench-clearing brawl broke out during a basketball game this week between Zachary High and Liberty High with just minutes left in the game. Bench-clearing brawls. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. And not just in basketball games, in all games. Why are we fighting? You're already competing against this other team. The worst ones is football, though. Back when I was playing ball in high school, there'd be kids at practice. You just light some poor receiver up running across the middle. Then you stand over him. You're talking trash to him. He gets up. You start fighting after the play. It is literally legal in football to hit people in between plays. Why do you have to do it after the whistle? Basketball, I could understand it a little bit more. I mean, I know that tempers flare. So I actually read up on this a little bit. The story behind this, two kids got in a fight. Coaches went on the court to break them up. And the teams went on the court to break them up. They start fighting each other as well. I mean, this is high school, guys. Let's grow up a little bit. I'm going to leave that.
I'm with you. Leave it. So Saints running back Alvin Kamara was among 4 people indicted due to a battery incident that took place in Las Vegas last year. Alvin Kamara is expected to miss time due to a suspension. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking it. I think Alvin Kamara is definitely going to miss time over this. I know Saints fans don't want to hear that. Which, I mean, Roger Goodell in the NFL, they hate the Saints, right, Paul? I mean, they've been plotting against them for years.
Oh yeah.
I'm totally kidding.
It's part of the script.
As a Cowboys fan, I know, boo me if you want. Ezekiel Elliott got suspended for something similar. It was between him and his ex-girlfriend. Look, that was a case that went to law enforcement. Police found him not guilty. The NFL still suspended him. They operate by a different set of rules. It's part of player conduct. It doesn't matter if Kamara's found guilty or innocent. This is something that they've done in the past. Unfortunately for Saints fans, I think that Alvin Kamara definitely going to miss some time, so I will take that.
The XFL kicks the season off tomorrow with 2 games. Will you watch the XFL this season? Take it or leave it.
Most of you will laugh at this response. I'm taking it. More football in the spring? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not a huge baseball guy. Now, I will tune into LSU baseball. I will be cheering my little heart out on the interstate going home right after the show, listening to it on the radio. But, look, man, more football, I'm taking it. And, look, the USFL, they didn't put out a great product this fall, but the XFL was pretty entertaining. It was pretty competitive in 2020 before it got cut short because of COVID. I actually became a pretty decent-sized DC Defenders fan. I was a big Cardell guy. They were good. I like the St. Louis Battlehawks, Houston Roughnecks. That's a great team name. Yeah, I'm going to check it out, man. I'm excited about that one. XFL games, that is a take for me. I will be tuning in probably tomorrow evening.
I'll check it out. I'm not going to watch from beginning to end, but I'm interested. We'll see what they do. Mardi Gras. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to get absolutely roasted for this one. I'm leaving it. I do not like Mardi Gras at all. Now, again, I'm not Catholic, so it doesn't have the sentimental value as it does for most people here in South Louisiana. I hate Mardi Gras, don't like parades. Maybe I'm just too much of a keyed-up person because, again, not a big baseball fan, not a big golf fan. They move a little too slow for me. I don't want to stand there, whether I have a drink in my hand or not, whether it's cold or hot, for hours at a time watching people go by trying to pelt others with beads. That's not what I call fun. Now, a king cake, I'm taking that. Except an unfilled king cake. Paul, an unfilled king cake is a crappy cinnamon roll. Don't let anybody tell you differently, but
I agree.
Filled king cakes, Casey, Paul, Mardi Gras, yes or no?
You got to do it right.
Okay.
I'm for Mardi Gras. But you got to go all out at least once in your life. You got to experience New Orleans at least once. You got to not remember one of them. That's just priority. It has to happen.
Casey, now you're not from here, so you're going to have a little bit different take on it, but Mardi Gras, yes or no?
I'm for it. I would love to experience it one day. Have yet to. I've driven in...
It's overrated.
I've driven in the Baton Rouge parade, but that's
okay,
all. That's my extent.
You got to go to New Orleans to experience Mardi Gras fully. So never been to a Spanish Town parade in my life, Paul. Fun fact there. Don't plan on it either.
And you lived here your whole life?
Yeah. Lived here my whole life. I told you I'm not a parade guy. Now, I've been in New Orleans a few times for Mardi Gras, but been there, done that. Don't plan on returning.
You gotta do Spanish Town.
All right, we got one more. I'll take it or leave it. We got time for another one, huh?
So yeah, I heard your little pumped about this one.
Yeah, me and Hart were talking about this before the show.
Gender reveals. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave this harder than I've ever left anything in my life. There's a chance, Paul, that gender reveals become the downfall of this country. They're dumb. I'm not going to name this person by name in case they are listening. Someone from my hometown today posted on Facebook. They're a big bow hunter. All right, so they got their bow. They draw their bow back. There's a black balloon taped to what looks like a glorified fence post. Takes the shot, hits it with the arrow. It busts. There's pink powder and confetti going everywhere. Everyone's jumping up and down. I've seen another one where a guy squeals his truck tires and the smoke coming from the tires is blue or pink.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fun story before we leave. Coming back from vacation a couple years ago, and we're on Kane Market Road in Walker. For those of you in Walker, you know that is quite the pleasant place. A little bit out there, a little bit in the sticks. We're driving by sheriff's office, people in handcuffs. Guy looks like he just got tased. Standing in the front yard, they got their guns drawn. Some guy shot another guy at a party. We're driving by, a big sign in the front yard says, "It's a boy." So shooting at gender reveals as well. I am leaving that harder than I've ever left anything in life. All right, look, we only got about 2 minutes to go. I gave my take on it. I think LSU sweeps. I think they get it done with ease. I think the pitching staff, much improved from last year. Balls flying off bats. Paul, what you got?
For what?
LSU baseball this weekend,
baseball?
man. Let me guess. You think they lose 2 out of 3?
No, I think they sweep.
No, I'm just kidding.
I really haven't paid too much attention to them to start the season. Been kind of busy with a baby, but
oh, that's right. You're adulting now.
Yeah, kind of adulting. So I really have no clue about this team right now until they actually start playing games. So I'm just going based off pretty much what Matt and Musso say, and they look pretty good.
They're going to be good, man. They're going to sweep this weekend. 1, they're good. 2, Western Michigan, not the most competitive team they'll play this year. I'll put that lightly. All right, look, guys, that's just about going to do it. I've had a lot of fun sitting in here for Hunt for the last half hour or so because unlike the rest of us who have to work, Paul till 6, me about to get off, but Hunt gets to just leave work whenever he wants. He gets to leave early, gets other people to do his dirty work. He's probably pulling up right now, grabbing a beer and a hot dog somewhere, just living life to the fullest. But again, had a lot of fun. Thanks for Paul filling in on video so that I could come up here and do this and do the job that Hunt Palmer apparently didn't want to do today. Casey hitting all the right buttons as always, man. Again, that's going to do it. We will be back on Monday. Hunt will be back, hopefully, for the full 2 hours. We'll see how he's feeling that day. Again, going to hand it off to Matt Moscona. Not only Matt Moscona, LSU baseball in the box starting in about 5 minutes from right now. Go Tigers. I think they sweep it. I think they get it done. That's going to do it for us here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Coming up just after me, 3 to 6, Matt Moscona going to drive you home here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045 ESPN to cast your vote in this